In this episode of the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, we're talking about cooking with less fat, a guide to healthier meals. We'll also have an amazing recipe of the podcast and my tips for a foolproof Thanksgiving turkey cooking extravaganza. So happy you're here. The Happy Diabetic Kitchen will return right after this. Hello everyone, I am Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic. Welcome to the internet's most delicious cooking podcast. I'm here in the kitchen getting ready to explore a healthy diabetic lifestyle. I want to take the mystery out of healthy cooking, explore some amazing foods, and my diabetic journey with all my successes and all my challenges. Let me help you live your best happy diabetic lifestyle. So welcome to the kitchen. And if you're new to the show, I am so happy you're here. In today's podcast episode, we'll explore how you can start cooking with less fat and add back the flavor. Let's talk turkey, my foolproof cooking guide to help you take the mystery out of your turkey preparation. Simple and easy. Some people make it so complicated. My method is easy, delicious, and foolproof. And the recipe of the podcast is my simple method for a low-fat butternut squash soup. Big on flavor without all the heavy cream. This healthy version that I've created uses the butternut squash, onions, garlic, chicken stock, a little bit of butter to thicken the soup, and maintains all the deliciousness you're looking for in this classic fall recipe. So, this and so much more are headed your way on the Happy Diabetic Kitchen podcast. Stay tuned, everybody. We will be right back. Hey, I've got something really excited to share with you today. We have a brand new Happy Diabetic Cooking Academy that you can access on my website, happydiabetic.com. Our first course is up, and it's called The Happy Diabetic Lifestyle Way of Cooking and Eating. So, what's the deal? Well, together, let's learn a way of cooking and eating that's actually fun, creative, and stress-free. We're making managing diabetes delicious. So, what do you get? On-demand cooking classes with me, Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic. The course includes 5 chapters, 17 video lessons that you can do at your own pace, 8 simple recipes you'll absolutely love. I'll show you step by step how to create yummy, diabetes-friendly recipes. Smart tips on meal planning, portions, and keeping our blood sugars in check. We'll cover cooking basics and understanding food labels and other helpful stuff. So what's the goal, you ask? Well, to make cooking and eating at home fun, delicious, totally stress-free, and healthy for you, your family, and all your friends. So how do you get started? That's the easy part. Simply go to my website, happydiabetic.com. Click on the Academy link. Start learning right away. The cost, just $49. And here's the bonus. This Cooking Academy makes a great holiday gift. You can buy a gift card on our merch site and gift it to your loved ones so they can register for the class. Come on, everyone, let's get cooking together. We will create something amazing and healthy that you will be so proud of. Sign up now. What are you waiting for? All right, here we go. So why should you cook with less fat? Well, cooking with less fat is so beneficial for so many reasons. Reduced fat, especially saturated and unhealthy fats, helps create meals that are better for your heart and overall well-being. So, overall, healthier dishes you'll start to make. Let's talk about weight management. Fat is fat. Fat contains more calories per gram than carbohydrates or protein. Using less fat can help manage calorie intake and support weight measurement goals. What about enhanced flavor? Well, contrary to what you may think, reducing fat doesn't mean sacrificing flavor. So, you can use herbs, spices, and other flavor enhancing techniques to create delicious and satisfying dishes. And when it comes to diabetes management for people with diabetes, controlling fat intake is critical for managing your blood sugar levels and overall health. Remember, it's not about eliminating fat entirely, but rather using it mindfully and opting for healthier fats when you do. So, of course, the question is, where do I start? How do I begin? Here's some tips. I like to use leaner cuts of meat, anywhere from 93 to 95% lean. Turkey, cuts of meat, skinless chicken breast. Trim the fat whenever you can. So before cooking, remove visible fat and skin from meat and poultry. Use nonstick whenever you can. Use nonstick cooking spray or pans to saute food. I like to use many different cooking methods. So instead of frying, try broiling, grilling, roasting, poaching, or steaming. Also, I recommend you use different oils like avocado oil or avocado oil, monounsaturated fats instead of butter or lard. You can also use oil sprays and measure with a teaspoon because a tablespoon of fat, like olive oil or canola oil, is about 130 calories. So easy does it when it comes to oil. Add those vegetables whenever you can. Beans, whole grains to replace some of the meat in dishes like burgers, meatloaf, chili, or stews. Remove fat after cooking. You know that fat layer that shows up? Drain fat from cooked meats. Blot with a paper towel. You can also skim fat off of soups and stews. Another trick I like to use is low fat dairy whenever possible. So use 1% or skim milk in place of whole milk. You can also use lower fat or reduced fat dairy products or dairy alternatives. But what about trying some new cooking methods? Well, I think that's part of the fun of cooking. Broil, roast, bake, steam, or microwave fish, chicken or turkey, and other meats. I always remove skin from chicken and turkey and trim extra fat from the meal before cooking. Sprinkle herbs on meats, chicken and fish, and in soups. And how about cooking in broth instead of fat? And whenever I'm using soups or stews, I love to add beans and rice and add chopped onions and garlic and peppers. Just adds so much amazing flavor. But what about recipes you just want to basically lighten up? Well, in soups and sauces, I recommend replace whole milk or cream with low fat milk, evaporated fat free milk, or non fat dry milk. In puddings or other desserts, replace whole milk or cream with low fat milk or fat free condensed milk. What about dips and toppings? Well, use low fat or non fat cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, or even sour cream. And to make salad dressings, try non fat yogurt or low fat buttermilk. You don't have to buy fat free salad dressings. You can make delicious dressings yourself. I've got recipes on the website. You'll find many there. So, when it comes to cooking and eating less fat, it's a conscious effort. Get used to looking at nutritional labels on the products that you buy, but just think about how you're making and cooking and really start with baby steps. Change a process, change a style, change a seasoning, and make food taste good. Listen, here at the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, I want to help you fall in love with cooking at home again. Think about this. When you're cooking your favorite dishes at home, you know what's in them and you know what's not in them. Out in restaurants or prepackaged foods, it's hard to know exactly what you're getting. And that's all part of living a happy and healthy, diabetic friendly lifestyle. That's what I want from you, to fall in love with cooking again. All right, everybody. Everything we've talked about in this segment of the podcast will be on the show notes. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for the recipe of the podcast, my low-fat butternut squash soup. Stay tuned, everybody. We will be right back. All right, everybody, it's time for the recipe of the podcast, my low-fat butternut squash soup of love. So this is an easy and healthy alternative to the typically rich and heavy cream variety of butternut squash soup. Made creamy using a blender, you would never guess that there's no cream in this healthy fall soup. So the recipe is on my website at happydiabetic.com. Let's go through it. You're going to need 1 medium butternut squash, 1 medium onion chopped, 2 medium apples coarsely chopped, 1 medium carrot chopped, a half teaspoon of rosemary, half a teaspoon of marjoram, 4 ounces of olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic minced up nice, 1 box or about 32 ounces of chicken or vegetable broth, whatever you prefer, and 1.5 cups of organic fat-free Greek yogurt. And of course, salt and pepper to taste. Now, I always use kosher salt, the big flake salt, easier to control and easier to handle. All right, let's put it all together. So in a large pot, I'm going to combine the squash, apples, broth, onions, and carrots, rosemary, marjoram, salt, and pepper. But remember, easy does it on the salt and pepper. You can always add more, but you can never take it out. So at the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, we love to cook and season in layers, adding salt and pepper throughout the whole cooking process. We're going to bring it to a boil and then reduce it to a medium heat, right? So we're going to let it simmer uncovered for about 40 to 45 minutes. Now, once all the vegetables are nice and tender, we're going to use an immersion blender, one of those stick blenders, right in the pot, or you could let the soup cool and then put it in your blender and pulse until smooth, either your Vitamix or your Hamilton Beach blender or your Cuisinart. Then we're going to return the soup to a large pot and we're going to reheat it very slowly, being careful not to bring it to a boil. Next, we're going to add more salt and pepper if we need it. Remember that layering of seasonings. Then we're going to transfer the apple butternut squash soup to a serving bowl, garnish each with a dollop of yogurt and some roasted pumpkin seeds. This is really a soup of love and so simple to make. The amount of the soup will make 8 servings, and one serving size is only 183 calories, 16 grams of total fat, 218 milligrams of salt, 8 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of fiber, 2 grams of sugar, and 2 grams of protein. The recipe is on the website at happydiabetic.com, or you'll find it in the show notes. All right, when we come back, yes, it's time to talk turkey. One of my favorite subjects. Love roasted turkey. All right, stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back with you. All right, everybody, let's talk turkey. Now, my method is fuss-free and easy. There's no brining or basting. It's just old-fashioned turkey roasting that's super simple and delicious. So the question I get asked all the time is, what size turkey to buy for Thanksgiving dinner? Well, first things first, I think buy about 1.5 pounds of turkey pre-cooked per person. So if you're feeding 6 people, buy at least a 10-pound turkey. That way you'll always have leftovers. Now, when it comes to thawing your turkey, make sure you allow plenty of time for your turkey to thaw in the fridge, right? In the refrigerator, not on your countertop. A good rule of thumb is to allow 1 day in the fridge for every 5 pounds of turkey. I always give myself 1 or 2 extra days just to be safe. I always set the turkey on a cookie sheet pan because, sometimes it leaks and makes a terrible mess. Now, some people think, I've got to wash the turkey. I'm here to tell you, do not wash your turkey. If you wash your turkey in your sink, all you're going to do is contaminate your sink. Remove the turkey from its packaging and dry it off with some paper towels, and then throw those away. And do that in preparation for the oven. Any bacteria on the turkey will be killed in the hot oven when it bakes. I also never baste a turkey. Basting is usually unnecessary to produce that beautiful golden brown turkey. Matter of fact, I think basting can even make the skin soggy. It also requires you to constantly open and close the oven, which causes the oven to lose heat, and the turkey will just take longer to cook, which could lead to a dried turkey. No one likes dried turkey, right? Does that make sense? I think it does. But what about stuffing inside the turkey? I don't recommend it. If you try to put stuffing or dressing inside the cavity of the bird, the turkey will be overcooked by the time the stuffing reaches a temperature that's safe to eat, at least 165 degrees. Instead, I cook my stuffing in a casserole dish. Then you can fill the cavity with things like onions and salt and pepper and apples and carrots, celery and citrus, things that will help that bird just taste delicious. Now, when it comes to seasoning the bird, I only like to use kosher salt. I have found with that long cooking time of the turkey, if you ladle it with too many herbs or pepper, they will get burned and crusty. So I just like to salt the skin really nice, which will help draw the moisture out of the skin and make it very crunchy and crispy and delicious. You don't need an expensive roasting pan. If you have a big metal roasting pan, great. If you don't, no worries. Just use a big casserole dish big enough for the bird, or go buy one of those $2 or $3 disposable foil pans at Walmart or wherever. And when you're done, fold it up and throw it away. Now, what do I put at the bottom of the pan before I add the turkey? I love chopped veggies like carrots and onions and celery on the bottom of the pan, and then I can put the bird right on top of that. It kind of acts like a wire rack in a regular roasting pan by elevating the turkey slightly. Place the turkey right on top of your chopped vegetables. Now, another important tip is before you season your bird, dry it off with a paper towel really good. You want that skin as dry as possible. Then you're going to season it, preheat your oven, and get ready to go. Now, I do like trussing my turkey. And what I like about trussing the bird, it helps it to cook evenly. So, trussing the bird ensures even cooking and ease of carving. I like to preheat my oven at 400 degrees. Then I truss the bird and it's ready to go after I've salted and seasoned the top of the bird. So I've got my oven set at 400 degrees and I'm going to roast that bird for 30 minutes. Then after 30 minutes, I'm going to turn the heat down to 350 and let her go, trying not to open the door at all. Another key component to making a great turkey is when it comes out of the oven, let the turkey rest. So after removing the turkey from the oven, let it rest for at least 30 minutes to up to 40 minutes. This gives you some extra time you need to get everything ready to go on the table, the gravy, and then you're ready to start carving. And of course, if you're using the drippings for gravy, remove the turkey from the pan on a cutting board and tent it with aluminum foil while it rests there. And if you're not using the drippings, just leave it in the turkey in the pan and tent it with foil. Another question I get quite often is, it looks like my turkey is overcooking. The skin is getting too dark. Okay, no worries. Take a deep breath. That's where you're going to make a tent out of aluminum foil, place it over the turkey, and that will help deflect the heat. No worries. Every oven cooks a little different, but remember this, my friends, you are in control. And make sure you have an instant read thermometer so you know when that turkey is done. And what temperature are we looking for? 165 degrees. And the juices will start to run clear in the bird. But remember, let the bird rest before you cut it. Simple, right? It is. This is a simple and easy and delicious method of roasting a turkey. Allowing your turkey to rest will help coagulate the juices back in the bird. If you cut it hot right away, all the juices will just run right out of the bird. Dry bird, no good. Here's some cooking guidelines from the USDA how to cook a Thanksgiving turkey. An 8 to 12 pound turkey will take about 2 3/4 to 3 hours. A 12 to 14 pound turkey will take about 3 to 3.5 hours. And a 14 to 18 pound turkey will take about 3 1/4 to 4 1/4 hours. Now, listen, every oven is slightly different. Your oven may cook quicker or slower. That's why that instant read thermometer looking at 165 will be your best friend this Thanksgiving. Be sure to check the temperatures really carefully for a successfully cooked bird. The only other question I have for you is, what time is your Thanksgiving dinner? What time should I be over? Let me know. I would love to have Thanksgiving dinner with you. All my turkey tips today you'll find in the show notes of the podcast. Okay, stay tuned, everybody. Can't wait to come back. And like all the suggestions that we've talked about today, remember to consult with a healthcare professional for your personalized advice and guidance tailored to your specific needs and medical history. One size does not fit all. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice. The views expressed on this podcast may not be those of the host or the Happy Diabetic Kitchen. Always consult your medical team if you're planning on making any changes to your health plan, medication, lifestyle, or anything going on with your diabetes. Remember, I'm not a doctor, a certified diabetic educator, or a dietitian of any kind, although I am a father of 3 amazing kids, Attila, Dracula, and Frankenstein. Well, that does make me a psychiatrist of sorts. Well, my mother wanted me to be a doctor. Does that count? And if you're loving the podcast, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss one single episode. The Happy Diabetic Kitchen is made from scratch, seasoned with love, cooked to perfection. Thanks everyone for listening, and our theme music is by the Happy Diabetic Kitchen Band, and of course our kitchen mascot cat, Tucker. Scout, who is part of the team for so many years, sadly has passed away, and we do miss him. Remember, everybody, this year better than last year. This month better than last month. This week better than last week. And this day better than yesterday. Thanks for tuning in, and let me leave you with this thought. World famous chef Emeril Lagasse. Remember Emeril? Bam! Well, he once said, "It's okay to play with your food." I totally agree. Some of my best concoctions were created when I dared to play with my food. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and remember this. At the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, no one loves you more than me.